order at 401 Savoy.
Yeah.
Get north here, worth
Yeah.
Blacktop,
Here.
Bradford here, so what's here, Janice excuse. And visitors or guests. Sean, you have any comments or concerns?
Nope, I don't think so.
All right. Any changes to the agenda?
Yes.
Yes, I think we need to add, under committee reports, the personnel committee met on the 8th of September,
Okay.
so we should add that.
Okay, so that'll be B under committee reports. And everybody get a chance to look at the minutes from last month's meeting?
Yeah.
If there's no discussion on that, I would.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, motion made and seconded to approve minutes from last month's meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Everybody should have a copy of the treasurer's report now. CD maturing today, huh?
Mhm.
Oh, no, that was, oh, yeah.
Next year. Next
Next
year
year,
today.
yeah,
It did on the 14th.
okay.
They're all next year.
We're locked in now,
Yep.
right?
Yep, we're back up to 1.
Wow, good, we're over 1 point.
Yeah, we were at
I
0.85.
know. Okay, the motion to accept the treasurer's report.
Motion to accept.
Second. Sorry, go ahead.
Motion made and seconded to accept the treasurer's report as printed. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Everybody get you got children's librarian reports handed out, right? No?
Yes.
Dave?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to thank your team for coming over and working with our staff in service. That was well received.
Good.
Appreciate that as a resource to
Yeah, they were
continually
real,
better inform and know where and what is available. So thank you for that.
they were real encouraged too by the response, and
Yeah.
they felt it went real well. So
It was a good approach. I thought they had planned
Yeah,
that.
that is good. I will convey that.
You wanna highlight your report, Christie?
Okay, that note down, that's it. Okay. And, okay, I don't know if there's any, hi, hello? Let's see here. Okay, the book sale is in swing. This morning they made $39, and I don't know what happened Saturday, how much was in or anything then. See now. Okay, then Frederick saw the Indian statue in the office and suggested putting it where everybody could see it. What's everybody think? The only place I could think about is behind that microfilm machine, kind of, and so it probably faced the walk then instead of the street, but the street's kind of far away anyway, so I don't know.
Would it be safe there, Frank,
Yes.
you think?
The
I'd be in
only-
favor of it.
The only comment I have is I would like to see what we had down here for the literature that went with
Yes,
it.
yeah.
I would
To
too.
go with that, because that was part of the
You wonder
agreement
what
when
it
we
is,
got the
right.
statue.
Right.
So,
History of it.
yes.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how we can put that, or, you know.
Yeah,
that-
we can
What
come
is
up
it,
with a
what
small,
format is it in? Is it on
It-
paper?
that
it's
is
in
in
a
a
frame.
Okay.
I don't know, is it small
We
enough to fit?
we
tiny?
can look at it and see if we put it like at the base of the statue, or if we come up with something like a little tripod that can go on the table and put it next to it, so.
I was thinking of
But
it
as long as
facing
we're in
outside.
agreement that we'll do that, let's look at it
Sounds
and
good.
see what works out, and
Sure.
we can go from there. And I'm glad to hear that kind of a comment coming from somebody that uses the library, because that means there are people actually looking at and seeing what's going on, so.
A couple of people commented, oh, they did, they said, oh, that's from Hotel, you
Well,
know.
then
A couple,
then
you know,
for sure we'll make,
That's, it'd be nice to have what Frank and you put together for the background info.
yeah. But as long as that was part of the agreement getting it, I think that's what we need to be cognizant of.
And Tim's Lighting did come and change lights, but there's a switch under there. Did you know that?
I did
I
not.
never know that. Yeah, there's a little, like a regular light switch underneath that whole big unit. And it had gotten turned off. And I suppose some of the kids were ducking under there or whatever, but it was turned off. And so the bulbs actually weren't burnt out, but then the guy doing it called the boss then, and he said, well, they haven't been changed for 2 years, change them anyway. So we do have new bulbs, but we can check that next time they don't work.
Okay,
I want to see the invoice when it comes.
It just came today, and so I added it to the bills. It's not on yours, but it
were
was on.
you able to get them to clean the gutters, as long as that's what you were talking about, or am I coming down to try and do that?
Well, I haven't,
We have a list. We've been down to 2 guys though, I think through Thursday this week, and they've got a list, because I did
And
get a
that's on
nice, good list from Christie. Yeah,
okay,
Okay.
good.
it's on.
good. Okay. So.
Probably the end of the week, we can get it.
Fine, I just want to make sure that we don't go too far, because I
Yep.
noticed the one that, as you come in the front door of the library, that one to the left there has been running right over, so.
Then after you told me that, I noticed it was running out kind of by the magazines
Okay.
and newspapers over there somewhere too, off the side.
And as long as
So-
we're talking and on the subject, part of our problem is, and this may be for everybody here, I think that water in the elevator shaft, the fact that we have not had a problem in the last year and we've had some torrential rains, I think part of that was those plugged gutters up there and the rain coming down, it was running in between and looking for any cracks in the concrete, and it found a few cracks and filled up.
Mm.
Because since we've diverted all that and redone that back there, we, knock on wood and everything else,
Yeah.
I am superstitious, but with the rain we've had, the fact we have not had any
Pretty good
problems,
test.
it is a very good test, you bet.
Okay, and the door and the windows, we'll talk about that later, probably.
Yes.
Okay. And Charter came and installed the box for the TV, so we've got the complimentary cable TV. And then today, this morning, there was a message on the answering machine, which I listened to about 4 times, and I couldn't understand them, except I got the number to call. And I talked to Frank anyway, then I ended up calling, and it was CenturyLink saying that they were disconnecting our telephone line. So I think we are on Charter now, because I had called to make the switch to Charter like the city recommended. And they couldn't because they had to replace the cable first and this and that and this and that. But, so I think it happened this morning at 5 o'clock or whatever time it said in the answering machine. So I think we're on Charter now. Okay, I don't think, oh yeah, and then we got the check, $500 check from that program that we participate in, that, somebody won a $1,000 scholarship, and then because he won that, then we got $500. But, so I thought it would go to Sue into, our, thing, but it's written out to City of Weyauwega Public Library, so I thought I would just hold it till we met and Mary found some information. You wanna just?
According to
read
the
that?
trustees handbook, if it's a gift, it goes in our account, not in the city. It has to be revenue to go to the city. So, you agree?
Yeah, I
Is
think
it-
the only thing that we do is just pay
You're holding it. If, even the
She's
fines and
holding-
fees.
Oh, well, yeah, but just like we pay your bills for you too, though,
Right,
there's no charge for that. We don't get any money off of that,
Right.
so, yeah.
right. But because it is a gift, according to the trustees manual, which is put out by the state.
Yeah, I don't know that there was a question unless,
It's
oh, you were
just
just
that it was
holding
because
it?
It was
City
just
of
written
Weyauwega.
to it. I thought it'd just be written out to Weyauwega Public Library, and I was.
Oh,
going
it's written out to
assume-
both, really.
Well, it's City of
Weyauwega
Public
Public
Library,
Library.
so I don't know
I
if she
would
can
think
just
she
take
could
it and cash it, I
Just
don't,
endorse it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
does that work?
Oh, yeah, it's fine.
Because when I read about it in the paper, it said that there would be a gift made to the library of the student who won the scholarship.
Yeah, because I know Kelly even went back and checked on that, how to word it, because she said, and she looked up and it said gift prize is what it said, or whatever. So it was worded like that, because I wasn't sure, you know, how it was spelled out, but okay, so then that's that.
Yeah, City of Weyauwega Library Fund. So
Yeah.
you're fine there, same title.
And they did finish up on the fiber upgrade, and he emailed me today, and it was upgraded from a 3.0 Mbps to a 10.0 Bps, and it's complete. So, I'm not sure if it's in effect immediately or not, but it's, the thing is complete, so, anyway.
Do you wanna give them a little history on that wire that's out in front on the pole?
Well, I don't know if you wanna hear all this, but
Give it to them so they know what's what,
You
because,
had wrapped up something
Yes.
saying it?
yeah.
The orange cord?
Yes, well, we had gotten that letter about the complimentary cable, and so, in the box. And so I called because you had to do it now, because I said, well, we might not keep this TV, but if we get another one, we might wanna use the complimentary cable. So, you had to get it now if you got it free. So, okay, we'd like you to come. So then he came to do that, and then he tested the cable, and the cable was no good. So he said, we'll have to send somebody else to replace the cable, you know, because it's been there forever, you know. So, okay, he left. And then we had called to switch from CenturyLink to Charter telephone service. So they came out to make the switch, and they came, I said, well, we can't do anything until that fiber, that cable is replaced, that underground cable. And I said, oh, somebody was here earlier, and, you know, they said, well, they didn't tell me that, or whatever, you know, so they both go, he couldn't do it. Well, the first guy couldn't do anything, and then the second guy couldn't do anything. So then they came out and did the cable, and there was a little picture drawn and stuff, so I showed that to them. And anyway, they must have did that in a weekend when I wasn't there, because I don't think I was there, but you could kind of see they did it, you know. And then another guy came out, you know, this is all over a whole summer, so these are weeks apart, each one of them is weeks apart. So another guy came out and he said, well, you know, we're supposed to be laying cable, so I said, well, you know, I think they were already out here, you know, and showed them the diagram.
Oh my gosh.
So then they laid cable in from the first telephone pole that they were supposed to use out to the one by the sidewalk, an additional, and then there's coil wound up there. Because I said, well, I don't think it needs to go out there. Why don't you call? I said, because I think it's already been done. And they didn't want to call. So they went ahead and did that, and now, I don't know, we have an extra cord down by that hole. I'm still wrapped up.
if the
Probably
city
just bring
needs
that to my
any
house.
kind of wire, there's a whole coil out
Just
there.
duct tape
Wow.
it down across the sidewalk.
Yeah, well, just put up a pole and bring it into the house.
Well, there you go, there you go.
Complimentary cable.
Yeah, we could use that.
I asked that question before we came down, that's why I'm having her explain it, because I thought, boy, talk about a three-ring circus on that one.
It's a good thing you have a sense of humor, Christine.
Yeah, well, you know, it was getting confusing. There was so much going on, and then the other digging out there for the, whatever that was for, you know, that wasn't anything to do with
So
us, but.
is that hooked up? Or is it just all loose hanging there?
You know,
I mean, why do
I
they
think
need
there's a
it?
lot of loose ends, because up in our neighborhood,
Yeah.
we don't have cable at our house, but our neighbors do. And it's literally a line hanging down from a pole tied to a little guide wire, and if I don't want my neighbor to have cable, I could just go and hook it and be done.
Yeah,
That's all it is. And
I
that
think
is-
that's kind of
that-
what this is too.
And
if
that's
you can hook
how
up if you
it's
want
being
to.
managed right now, so. I don't know.
If
But
you
that
know
we should know
something
that.
we should know about this whole thing, speak up, please, because I'm somewhat lost on this whole deal.
All I can tell you is we're working with Charter too, and we're about 2-3 months behind whatever you guys get. But it was explained to me in jest that if we hired Charter, and this was by one of their employees, if we wanted them to come and dig a hole, that they'd probably send 3 people, and none of them would know what the other one was doing. One would come with the shovel, one would grab the shovel, one would dig the hole. And actually it was 4, because then he said another one would make
Okay.
sure that it was a hole. And he said this, and I thought, well, that doesn't
Bode too well for.
inspire any confidence at all, but there are a lot of projects going on in town, so Weyauwega is doing a lot of burying cable and gas lines
That
too,
was
so
at the
that's
same
another.
time, yeah. it
And
was-
next
I
year,
appreciate that.
next year it's going to be really through downtown with Weyauwega, so there's quite a bit just going on through town anyway, where they're burying quite a bit of stuff, but working with Charter is, the service that you're buying is supposed to be a lot better, as long as you can get there.
Yeah,
It's
and
kinda,
I think we got there today now.
Yeah,
I
no,
think
that's good.
what that note was.
usually you'll find if your TV's working and you didn't have it before, and if your internet's a little bit quicker, that's usually when you can know.
Okay, well, we have our internet through
Oh, okay,
the library
okay.
service, so.
So your fiber
Imagine
was
having-
on a phone then, or for TV?
Well, the free cable was through complimentary cable TV because we're a
Oh,
library.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah.
and that was done, yeah, that was
Sure.
Charter. And now, I think just today it got switched to the telephone service, just the
Okay.
regular,
Sure.
long distance and regular service type
Mhm.
of thing.
But then with this last comment, your CenturyLink was here today and finished up the fiber upgrade, is that through the owls?
Yeah.
The CenturyLink, so you still have CenturyLink for internet? Or
Well, it's
something?
BadgerNet, but BadgerNet
Okay.
hired CenturyLink
Right,
to do
okay.
it, so do
dear.
not
Cause
directly,
I was a little
but
confused, cause you
indirectly.
said we
We
got
have
rid
a
of
whole nother
CenturyLink,
conversation,
Yeah.
but we
but I
actually
won't
still
bore you
have
with it going on.
for
Yes.
parts, not phone.
Right,
We've got
but you know
one
that,
box
it
for the
was,
entire
it's,
school.
the internet's really, through,
Complimentary,
I think
of course.
BadgerNet or
For every
BadgerNet,
TV in the
I think,
building.
And it works?
through,
No.
the
Good for
same
one
as the
TV.
school has
Oh,
it.
okay, that's what I
But
thought.
they hired CenturyLink to do it.
Which ones?
Which one gets
For
it?
them.
I would like to
Yours,
say I
right?
feel
Well,
better
I
after this
wasn't on
discussion, but I'm not so sure I feel better after hearing what you said.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on that
At least they
whole
could have
setup,
one for each
just to
school.
make sure, because if there is a problem, I'd like to know about it so we can follow up real quick.
We probably won't know till we get a bill.
Ding, ding,
He
ding.
I
said they
think
got
so. I'm
one for,
thinking
one
the
free
next
one for the
one.
whole
And
district.
no double
Yeah,
bill
that's
for
one
Well, that's
double
what I was gonna say.
installation.
Yeah, well, I hope not.
Additional is that
Well, I don't
cost.
think we need a charge for
Yeah.
installation.
You shouldn't have a
Yeah, I don't
charge,
think there'll
but
be a charge.
just in case somebody decides, hey, we sent out 2 groups.
Yeah, yeah.
On Charter, no.
Yeah,
For
there
your
should
Charter
be
services,
any-
no.
Yeah, there
Okay.
shouldn't be
Don't
any.
need on that.
So,
What's that?
And
Where's
then-
that
I
watch?
don't know why it doesn't
We
just.
don't know what they're watching. She said, let them watch
And I-
TV at home.
I had this a couple
Yeah,
months
the
ago.
problem is there's some educational things on some of the channels.
Forgot to talk about it, but
Yeah,
remember, Sue, did you have that thing framed yet, or?
I have everything, I have not gotten it framed yet.
Okay, so this is the picture you're using for that?
I don't have that. I don't have that picture. I just have the black and white of the gentleman.
Oh, you don't have this? Oh, well then, this was for you then, maybe. There you go.
All right,
So I don't know if that'll work. That-
yeah. because
If
I-
not, we'll try to do something else. But
Okay.
Kelly did that and printed it off, so.
Okay.
Do you
That was that.
do you have more?
I don't think so. I think, yeah, and then this is all committee meetings and budget stuff. I think that's it.
Okay, and before we approve the minutes, I would like to publicly say thank you to Christy and her husband for volunteering for Horse and Buggy Days. That's over and above, and I'm sure you've all read that. I mean, they're driving here from a different city in order to work at Weyauwega, so thank you very
We'll
much.
see how it goes.
I wish I could come in, but I'm not gonna be home.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Oh, I can put another first on for my life. I worked in a beer tent.
Is that
I did a bartender.
11 PM to 1 AM?
Yeah, no.
I had to do that one time.
Did you really? Oh, yeah.
The person who was supposed to do it didn't show up, so
Oh,
Dave came running home and he got me and my sister-in-law and we, and by then, some people were not very pleasant to deal with
yeah.
in selling the beer tickets.
Oh, I bet.
Oh.
They had had enough.
That was my one and only though. I didn't,
No encore, huh?
So, anyway, I figure I can't goof it up too much, right? All you do is pull the tap and
right.
tip the glass.
Oh,
right?
you're gonna be filling the glasses.
Yeah, I'm gonna be,
Oh.
I'm bartender. Another hat.
Somebody take a picture.
Yeah, what's that on our library website?
So when you need one, I can call you.
Yeah, right, well, I don't know, better see how this goes first.
No.
Anyway, so,
All right, I guess if
Okay.
there's anything else,
and
we'll
then,
move on to the bills.
yes, and I added a few on, the water and sewer came, so I added $92.67, I don't know if you wanna write them down or not, see, no. Did you have the phone last time? Can't remember, but I've got a phone bill. And, that Tim's Lighting came today, so that was $135.20. But there was another one that came later, maybe it was the phone bill. Yeah, I bet it was a phone bill, $108.55, if yours doesn't have that copy.
I don't think
Does your
it
phone
does.
bill have anything?
Oh, yeah, that was it, okay, so
AT&T.
it was phone
Maybe
bill
it's on
and
there.
water bill, and then Tim's
Okay.
Lighting. I think there were 3 more I added after.
When do we get the bill on the elevator maintenance? Is that
You know,
usually
I-
come at the tail end of
Yes,
the year?
yes.
Okay.
So I
Did
usually.
you get it
pay
in time that
Oh,
we
yes.
don't have a problem the last minute?
I usually call.
Really?
I've asked him to backdate it a month, because I think it's set right now at January 1st, but that first year we had extra money, so I wanted to pay that right away, because it was there in case we needed it. So I've been paying it in December, I think, every year. So if I don't get it, I usually call, and
Okay.
I've asked him to bill us a month earlier. Oh, sure we will, but then comes that time of the year, and then they don't. So I just have to call on it
Tell you
all the
what,
time.
if I'm speaking out of turn, holler right now, but if that happens again, because I've been in on this thing with the elevator, I will make the call and tell them, we don't have that a month earlier, you're not getting paid. This is ridiculous. They have been contacted now 4 times that I'm aware of, because I started way back when. There's no reason this shouldn't be updated with computers by now.
Right,
That
and that's
somebody
it. All
just
they have to
plain
do is
goof
change
it
on
out.
the computer.
Exactly.
Yeah, I would think it'd be easy to
And
do.
to me, to wait until December is a little hard on our librarian here, so we need to be balanced out by
Yeah.
then.
I
Is that
agree.
maintenance or inspection?
What that is for is the maintenance. Yeah, that's a yearly bill that we get, and then they come in,
Inspect it once
Three.
a year, yeah.
yeah, but I mean 3 times for maintenance?
3 or it must be 4, I
It
think,
could
because
be
it seems
4
like they
times.
come quite often.
Could be quarterly,
I bet it's
yeah.
quarterly. I'm not absolutely sure. But then, there's the bills then too, that they're approved.
But we don't pay 4 times, we just pay one.
No,
pay
you
once.
pay it once.
And
That's,
then they
that's
come-
our one-time bill.
And what is our fee again roughly for that?
It's about
Whatever the budget is.
$1,500 or $1,600.
Yeah,
We budget 1,900.
yeah, and I.
Which is, yes, it's high, but by the same token, if you remember when we had trouble with that water in there and we got in trouble with them, I said, hey, part of that is on you people. You have an inspection here. And when you're in here doing maintenance, that should have been taken care of because there was a malfunction. So we ended up getting, I think, a halfway decent shake out of it, so.
2003, it was about 1,500.
Okay.
So we've got a little leeway in there, I guess.
Yep.
Ready?
And I did, by the way, check around. There are not many elevator companies that will write the warranty. And if you want to start paying to go out of state, I don't want to tell you what the bills would be then. So,
Don't travel.
yeah, we're sort of caught with limited places we can go.
Okay.
Christie, I was looking at the year-to-date and wondering, are you planning to spend more of the money allocated for children and young adult books?
Well, I spend a little bit every month, so.
It just looked like, compared to the adult,
Yeah.
it was
Mhm. It
pretty
is
low.
lower, but,
still,
they're
but
happy
we've
with
got a
the
few
same
months
books.
left.
I mean, where adults are not happy with the same books. Or,
Oh, I see.
You're
I
a
agree.
2-year-old or 3-year-old 1 year, and then a next generation comes. And an adult, you get the same ones back, and you want the newest and the ones you read about in the paper, and so it's a little different that way. I probably could spend a little more, but I'm weeding now again, and I've got 2 big stacks I'm gonna, but my husband just brought 4 big bags from, he had done I don't know what they call community service anyway. They flew him out to New Jersey and they had him inspect some buildings and do a big report. And he said he wouldn't charge him because he didn't want to go through the hassle of all that reporting and stuff. But anyway, she offered, do you want some children's book or adult books? And so I said, well, I guess probably children's books. So she got 4 huge bags, and
Wonderful.
which is good, but we'll probably only put just a fraction of them on the shelf because they're either repeats or ones that I don't know that you just wouldn't put out.
Maybe they could be prizes or,
That's what I said, the prizes or but I hauled 2 bags in today, but I got 2 more big bags at home that I gotta haul. Pretty good. So we're gonna write her nice thank you and stuff.
I think there's still an amazing number of children who have never owned a book.
And she asked if we wanted more. I said, oh, I don't know. I don't want to really tell her yes, but I don't want to say no and say I sound ungrateful. You know,
Was this a book company or what?
I don't know. It's one of the sisters from the hospital he used to work with in St. Mike's. You know, so
Oh.
he's worked with the sisters for, you know, he's worked at the hospital for 40 years. He's retired now. And so anyway, this is one of the head honchos, you know, because he's, you know, did this special project out in New Jersey for him. So I don't know. Yeah.
It's new material then, not used?
Some of them are brand new, but some of them are used, but look brand new, but they'll say to George from Alice or, you know, something
Okay.
inside. But it looks brand new, but it's not, so I'm not sure where they
Just
get
to
'em.
go through that number of books is going to take a while, I
Yeah,
think.
I went through them real quick at home, and there's, you know, I'll probably put maybe this many on the shelves.
And maybe
You know,
Cindy
and then-
Garnett could help with that too.
Because there's, yeah, she might, but I thought I'd let Kelly go through them real quick and see if there's anything she thinks she.
Well, I'm glad I asked the question.
But, yeah, so, so anyway, they're getting some in there too.
Well, I
The
mean,
ones that you don't use on the shelves and that you don't wanna use for prizes, maybe either, St. Peter's or the
Oh, that's true too.
schools, the WS schools would like in the middle libraries.
There's that one moniker, I don't know, you being a teacher, maybe because they're real old. I mean, you know, probably, I don't know, but anyway, the long A sound, the short A sound, and they have a whole book. And we used to have them and nobody checks them out, so we just kind of keep it. And there's a whole big new bunch, I mean, there's this many of those, you know, little books. And I think those are brand new. I mean, they look
maybe
perfect.
there's a homeschooler who would use those.
Yeah, I mean, they're beautiful books, but, you know, nobody checks them out, there's no use putting them on thing, but I thought, a schoolroom, I kind of thought that too, of a schoolroom, if you're working on that right there, you know, then you'd maybe use it, but
She took the word out if anybody has any that,
anyway.
you know, like at our own houses even, you know,
Right.
probably have some.
So
That's that.
you may thank your husband.
So, yeah, okay, will do. Okay, and we may be getting more, I don't know, because I'm not sure what to respond to that, whether we want more or not. Maybe just a few, maybe, I don't know, well, say, but something or other.
Well, if no other questions on there, I move to approve the budget or
And a second?
the bills.
So much earlier.
Oh, that's
I
right.
stuck the bills inside, and this is kind of what we're working through.
Good
but
enough, thanks.
I'll,
Aye.
Opposed? Any correspondence?
I don't think so. No.
We'll move on to committee reports. Frank, we'll let you start with building and grounds.
Okay, part of it we've covered. I did talk to John with the lawn service, and I think we should say goodbye to our tree out in front, because there is no way we're going to save that one. If you've looked at it, the one closest to your house there, it's going. I think we picked a little too much on its runners and what have you, and this last year in the winter took care of it. So unless I hear an opposition, it'll probably be gone when he comes to trim
What will
and
he
get
do?
it taken.
Would we be able to get the root panel out too, or the,
I can
stump
check with
or-
him and see what we can do there, yes.
Is he coming this fall?
He better come this fall, that's part of the deal, so,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, good.
Then Edie took a picture of the setup in there, because we're going to send a thank you once that picture is done, to the gal at Weyauwega at Pick and Save for all the boxes that she saved, because she saves them, puts them in a cart, calls me and says, okay, I have a cart ready for you. I drive up there, pick them up, and that's been for about 2 months on Tuesdays. So, and I don't think we can forget her on that one. If the city is taking care of the gutters, then I think that's taken care of. And right now, I don't know that I have anything else to, windows. We have had problems with the windows. They are starting to show their age. What it is the wind-up mechanism to open up some of them. In some cases, they've just popped out, and I've been able to put them back in again where they connect. In other places, it's worn to the point where the rivet is all gone, and I can put it up, but the minute you touch the handle, it's back out again. The sealer around 90% of the windows is pretty well shot. So as far as I'm concerned, I would like to call Tri-City Glass, have them come up here when they're in the area, take a look at it. I'm not so sure that I even want them to give me a bid anymore. Just have them look at it, get it taken care of, fix the windows that need fixing. Hopefully they can fix that they have a way to get things that they need to fix it. If not, it's going to be replacement on a couple of windows. Because right now we have at least 3 or 4 we can't really shut tight for winter. And I'd like to get that done. And then we have one door, and is that the door off the children's, the young adults there? That they also need to look at, and we may end up having to replace that one. It's a steel door. It's been on there a long time, and you can start seeing out in places you shouldn't be able to see out. So it's both a safety hazard and it's also a security hazard as far as I'm concerned. So I'll have them come up, take a look at that, and then see if we can get that taken care of.
Yeah, we're better off on the windows if we gotta start replacing or whatever to do it
Yep.
little by little,
Yeah.
that way it doesn't hit us all in one year.
Well, that's why I'm
'Cause
thinking,
we've
let
had
them come up and
some
look at it.
fixed already, haven't
Yes.
we?
Yes.
Yeah,
Just the glass pipe.
Okay,
This would be
so
the
no
whole
new
window
one.
though, yeah, not window.
yeah,
If they can't fix it, it's gonna have to be a replacement.
Right.
There's no choice in there.
right.
And at that point, I will come to you before we do that, because then I'm going to suggest that we upgrade to a triple pane and get it somewhat better for our heating system and our cooling system. There's no sense in going with a single pane. Now, some of these are a double pane, but they haven't shown that they've been wearing too well on that double pane, so. But I will talk to them, so if and when, but I waited until I met with you, then I'll give them a call. And I will meet with them once they're here and see what's what, and then report to the next meeting.
Christie, I talked to our tech ed instructor. I need a date, and preferably a Friday if there's sometime this fall. If you can give me a date, he'll send a student over to refinish that table.
Well, actually, when you can tell us a date,
Okay.
and we will, if we know ahead, we'll
Just
clear it out.
Okay.
And
All right.
Thursdays or Fridays are
Thursdays
the
or Fridays.
best days, and I'm
Okay.
sure you wouldn't wanna do it the weekend, but
Okay.
Thursday and Friday. no,
Probably a
we'll just-
Friday afternoon, I'm thinking, or something of that nature, but
That
I
would.
will tell now the
that would
students
be
are back,
good.
I had that on his desk when he came back, so.
Yeah,
He said,
okay.
yep, not a problem, so.
Okay, good.
I'll
So-
we'll set a date up. I'll shoot you an email
And
on a
you'll-
date then.
Let us know,
Yep.
okay.
Okay.
Super, okay, that's great, okay.
Just a big question to you, the 2 tables out here, we were gonna get rid of those some time ago. Do you still want them? Because if not, if we have the book sale, I'll put a for sale sign up, or I'll put a free sign up to get them out of here. Because they're starting to be in our way.
We'll come get them.
Okay,
We'll come get them.
I think there's 2, if I'm not mistaken, I'll look on the way out.
Sure.
They're the ones that are leaning right up here.
Okay, yep.
That's all I have in mind.
Okay, and then I guess we added personnel
Personnel, yep.
committee. So,
Who's reporting on
Jan and I met, that's,
You don't
oh
want
wait,
the
personnel,
personnel?
I'm sorry.
That's where we're at.
Okay, sorry, I was jumping.
We met, with the city administrator. It was, Jan Dalkey and our director and myself. And, we were working on a recommendation to give to the finance committee regarding, wages and salaries. And what we came up with was, 4% for all staff, with the exception of Carly, we recommend should receive a wage adjustment to $11 per hour. $11, raise Carly to $11 per hour and give all remaining staff a 4% increase. And we consider the 2 or 3%, the city doesn't know what is going to be done, but I believe you said that there are only a few of your city employees who are fixed at that kind of a percentage
Yep,
cost of living increase.
yep,
So
we'll be
we're
about 2
kind
to
of
3%,
freed up,
but
we
yeah.
were freed up, told we were freed up to do as we choose, or as what we feel the staff merits, and not be tied to 2 or 3%, so that's what we did. Would you like to add anything to that, Christie?
No, only that, Pat had mentioned that they're gonna revamp everything next summer, and we could get in on that if we wanted to, so I don't know if we wanna consider doing that. And the more I thought about it, I thought that might, separate the wages out a little bit better.
And that would take into consideration, I suppose, experience and expertise, and, as well as job performance and
Yeah, I'm not sure if we
anything
could
else we
just
want
even listen in,
consider.
if nothing else,
to.
and,
Oh, yes, I think we should
I-
at least find out what the thinking is on that, so we can.
yeah, so if you could let us know,
Yeah.
we can maybe.
Well, just to add real quick, when I mentioned, we'll be in the area of 2 to 3% probably, but we don't finalize that number till November when we do our budget. But we have a number of employees that don't just rely on the city saying, well, we're gonna give 2% to all employees for this next year. We've got, all of our public works guys are on a pay, it's sort of like a merit pay type system where based on their licensing and certifications that they get a rolling amount of money, and by next year we would like to get everyone in the city on some kind of a plan that doesn't just tell you here's your percentage, so if you don't do very well but just good enough to keep your job, or if someone else does really good, that you're not measured on the same level there. So that's sort of what we're talking about with getting people into a new program. And hopefully by next summer we've got it up and running. But yeah, we do only have a couple people at City Hall yet that are on the, what percentage do I get? Yeah.
And I would like to say that Christie helped us out by preparing this chart to show what the wages and salaries were from 2007 through this year, and then she had projected it for 2 and 3% for next year. And then over here on the far right, I have written what the actual wages would be. So we could pass that along if you want to look at that.
The 4%.
Thank you, Christie. Made our job a lot easier. And I guess that's my report.
Can we move to old business?
Over some
Horse and
buggy
buggy
days and
book
book
sale.
sale. Jan said you guys are still working on getting, or contacting him to see about selling, the book.
Jan was still working on that. I
Yeah.
haven't heard back from her what.
Well, when she called to tell me she couldn't come, she mentioned it and she's still working on it. So, but presumably they'll be selling our new book.
She was hoping that they would tell her just where to put the table and where to set up on Main Street, but when I heard her asking Holly from the Weyauwega Arts, she said, and she's on the committee too, I guess, and she said, well, anywhere between the bank and, and probably on the south side of the street you want to be, I don't know, and well, I don't think that's what Jan was hoping to be told. She wanted to be told, you should be right here. We'll save a place for you right there.
The person you can call on that is Jared Wilson.
Okay.
He's got that, if someone
Well, I
calls him,
see.
he's got it all mapped
A
out.
chart?
Yep.
Yeah, then she wasn't talking to the right person.
I've
But
got
they
his
still
number
hope to
too,
do that.
if anybody needs
Yeah.
it, I've got his number, so.
Good, thanks.
Yep.
Should I email Jan? I'd call her, but
Sure.
I don't want her to have to get up and
Sure,
come back
email her
stuff.
and just say,
And
check
just
with
say,
Jared
contact
Wilson.
with, do you have the phone right handy, or,
Mhm.
okay, and I'll write it down, and then I'll just email her, have to look it up.
I can email it to you otherwise too, and then you've got it.
Okay, either or,
I'll do that real quick,
Okay.
yeah.
okay. And then the book sale, is
It's started.
It started, and we already talked about that a little bit. that
People can
goes
come
all
down,
week.
right, between 10 and 3, all week long.
Right, and somebody was here this morning, Judy LaRue was here this morning, and she was, and I told her just, like 10 to 12:30, because that's, we divided the days up into 2 shifts, and then our afternoon person had to cancel out, so I thought, well, just leave, we'll just manage, and she said there were people here the whole time, so she stayed. Ken brought her a sandwich.
Wow.
And she didn't leave till just before. I kept thinking, did they leave? Because I didn't get the petty, the cash box. And I thought, I didn't want that left down there. Did they leave? No. So I finally went down and I said, oh, you're still here or something.
Well, Judy was our librarian for a short time, long ago. Yes.
Well, she said she was happy to stay and she enjoyed it. And call me again, she said. But she said, well, there was somebody here all the time, so I just stayed. There was somebody there when I came down, but she was only looking for one more book that she'd already paid a paperback because she got the 5th one for $1, so she had to look for one more paperback. So
You can no longer get 3 hardbound books for $1, though. You have only 2 for $1.
price is not up.
Are we having a bag sale on
Kristen, who was working on
Wednesday?
Saturday?
We are having a big sale.
Let's see now.
I'm scheduled to.
This past Saturday,
Yeah,
was
this
there someone here
past-
this
Yes,
past
there were
Saturday?
2 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon.
Yeah,
okay.
Edie came
I
down
could
just
think.
in case they needed some help.
Cindy Garnett was here
Oh, yes,
Saturday.
Yes,
Cindy was in the
she
morning.
was here with a friend of hers.
My wife Nancy was down there, and she would have known Cindy, and maybe even Edie as well. Was there somebody else that?
Yeah.
Nancy Schneider, was she?
Yeah, she was here in the afternoon.
Whoever the person was most helpful and just so pleasant, and our daughters just got a kick out of working with them, and they had books just all ready to
They
go.
always-
It was really good. They really enjoyed the opportunity to come down and buy some.
Yeah.
For a book lover,
Yeah.
it's like being in heaven.
Right.
Gosh,
It
there were a
was-
lot of books there.
They were very, very pleased.
Good.
So you're staffed for the rest of the week then? and
No, no
Saturday
staff at all.
No staff?
No, we're done staffing now until Edie and you come.
Okay.
So hopefully it'll work okay. It did other years, was the first big rush is the first Saturday, and then, of course, the big sale Saturday, and then I thought Monday. So, there'll probably be people coming in that, most people you can trust, and they can come upstairs and pay.
If you do get into a binder or something, call and see if Edie's around. She'll jump down here for a little while, so.
Okay, sounds good. But I think, like today, she said there was somebody there like constantly, but, when you mosey through those books, you
Yeah,
look
it takes
for an
a
hour.
long
Yeah,
time
you
to
look.
look through there.
Yeah, so it wasn't any rush or anything, but there was kind of somebody always there type thing, so, anyway, that's what, oh yeah, so then I think that's it
For
for
that?
business,
Okay, then we're going to new business and the budget.
Oh, and this is, to go back to Mary eventually. It's personnel. Okay, did you say budget?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, the budget, or do you wanna, you wanna,
Do you want me to
yeah,
fill
go
that
ahead,
in?
yes.
Um,
And then I'll just,
The finance committee met on Friday, September 12th. That consisted of Jan, myself, and our director. We recommended the approval for the personnel and wage increases, and went over the preliminary budget that Christie had prepared very nicely. And it looks like it's ready for approval on our end. We recommended to approve what she has presented today.
okay, so, I'm gonna send this around, and I will go with this, and then I'll keep one for Jan, and then, what do we do? This is what we're looking at.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Okay, then, okay, cause, we kind of put it together and then, found out today that I had decreased the health insurance because of what had been taken out of our, this year, consistently. There was a larger amount in January, and then the rest of the year was the same amount, so I just figured that was the amount, and found out today that it was not, that it was the software somehow goofed around, so anyway, it should remain as it was last year, but I've taken some of that out. So I rejuggled the numbers again today, so hopefully that'll work out okay. We did get, the city was gonna not increase their apportionments, but through the county, we'll be getting more, a little bit less than what shared on the second page. And so essentially, we can increase $5,679, that's on the second page there to the back side, the last thing. And so then we just plug that in, and most of that went for the salaries then. Salaries increased 3,671 cents, so, so that was 36, so that gave us another about 2,000 to increase elsewhere then.
Was Sheriff County went down
No,
in their
yeah.
appropriation?
Mm-hmm.
Did they send a letter, or how did you find out?
Owls handles all that, and, so I just, they usually send us an email thing, and I hadn't heard anything yet, so, at one of the last meetings, he was at it, so I asked him if he knew yet, and so he just wrote it out for me, but that's
Okay.
what they would be giving, and, they figure that out on how much they check out, so maybe our cert to them last year went down, is what I'm thinking. I don't know
Okay.
exactly, all I got is the last figure really, because they negotiate and they, do all that for us, so, then I just plug that in. And the same with the county, they negotiate with the
Mm-hmm.
county for the county payments there, and
Where are we at with Weyauwega County on their appropriation? Are we
100% now.
at 100%?
Yep, we're 100%
Okay.
now, yeah. And, CERC must have increased to them, because that went up quite a bit. So I'm guessing both of those will fluctuate a little bit each year, and the CERC this year has been down overall, so I'm guessing next year, the combination of the two will be down somewhat. But, who knows,
Now, in terms of the county appropriation, does that go strictly by who has what card, and as the card is scanned?
No, it's, okay, when you sign up for a library card, you have a home agency,
Okay.
and that's supposed to be the library you use the most. So, if you check out a book from here, we get credit for it, because you checked it out here at this site.
Mhm.
If you go to Weyauwega, check out a book, they get the credit for it, because you checked it out there. The only time that county agent comes in effect is if you renew a book. If you check out that book from Weyauwega, you got it and you wanna renew it, you renew it online, then we will get the credit because you're a Weyauwega patron. If you call in and have us do it, then whoever does it gets the credit. If you call us and have us renew it, we would get the credit. If you would call them and ask them to renew it, they would get the credit for that CERC. If you go online and order your books online, if you have them, wherever you check out the books. So if you have them come to our library, whoever checks the book out gets the credit. Whatever your home agency is. But the renewal online is really the only thing that
Mhm.
changes with that.
Okay.
So, in the long run, it doesn't matter a whole lot. I mean, if you have Weyauwega card, but you use ours all the time, if you're using our library, we're getting the credit anyway,
Okay.
unless you renew online, and then we would get the credit.
Okay.
So basically, it's circulation.
Yeah. And then.
The libraries with the most circulation get the most money from the county.
Right, and, it's not a set amount per CERC every year, it doesn't cost $1, if you order a book, it's not gonna charge $1 every year. Depends on, I don't know the formula itself, but it's like, okay, 100 books were checked out this year, and we have taxes were $100, so they each get $1 for checkout. Well, this year there were $200 checkouts, but we only have $100, so then you're only gonna get 50 cents per checkout. It's somehow, it's not exactly cut and dry like that. I mean, there's different figures, once they get the appropriatements, you have so much for the year. And then you only have that much money, so that has to get divided appropriately, you know. And so it's gonna be different each year, but it's the formula, I'm
But
sure
it's
is
supposed
the
to be
same.
100% of cost per circulation.
Yes, so that's what they're estimating for the next year, and they estimate for it, but then, you know, that actual year, it would probably be a little different than what we predict, but,
Okay.
To put a quick note on the city portion, the city didn't say we're keeping the libraries a portion the same or cutting it. The guideline that came down from the finance committee was as these as our budget's developing, try any, and I don't mean to refer to the library as a contracted service, but we've gone through the fire district, Gold Cross. The library acts in that manner because we send the money to you for a service for the community. They had said, try to keep everything at the same funding level from 2014. So what that means is try not to raise the costs, but that wasn't a mandate to not raise your costs. Now, if basically what the finance committee had said was, if you can't, if the fire district, and I'm meeting with them tomorrow, if they come and say, well, no, we can't, we have to raise the amount we get from the city meets in October the first 2 weeks, and then in the first 2 weeks in November too. If you find that you need something, to just submit like a request through me or through City Hall. So they're hoping, because the city's big pie keeps getting smaller, we're trying to rein in some of the things that we can, and it's just kind of a request here. We're not broke, it's just trying to work with everybody and manage that, so,
So we're trying to be helpful.
yes, there we go.
yeah. And it's appreciated, really, it really is, but,
And I'm hoping I can also be helpful, but if the news
Mhm.
is bad on those windows, then we're gonna have to look at that, and
oh yeah,
I
definitely,
may have to come up with something to do that, because we can't let that slide.
yeah, definitely. So that's just so you know, it's not a
Okay.
hard, here's where it is, they're hoping that, we're wishing and hoping that
Okay,
things work out, but it's something we can work with.
thank you. I wasn't sure how to put that, I
Yeah,
thought it was
it's,
a little more mandated than that, but I'm glad you
Yep.
spoke up.
yeah, because our budget isn't final until probably the third week in November, so everything on our end up until November is open to be discussed.
And I think with the increase with the county payments, I think that'll,
Mhm.
works for us, so.
So, are we ready to act
Do
on
we
this?
need to approve the budget as it is? Well, then I move that we approve the budget as it is currently printed. Is that a good way to put it, as it is currently printed?
Proposed?
I'll second.
You move to, that we accept the proposed budget as
Correct.
printed. And Radke seconded.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So,
There's no further discussion. Motion has been made and seconded to approve the 2015 budget as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
this is what we would like to give to the city, it
Mm-hmm.
leaves out a lot of that,
Mm-hmm,
and it's a lot simpler, and
sure.
we'd rather have you use this.
Yep.
than that.
I'll hang on to this in case anybody asks.
Yeah,
This is
it's
the one
the
that
same thing, but this is,
Hopefully
I do
she
the
doesn't
same
have
thing.
anything
Yeah.
else.
Because mine is, what the council gets is 4 pages, but it's,
Well, the
That's
same two
the-
people are
yeah.
gonna make the most.
it's got the
of it.
info, it's, yeah, easier to read.
yes.
Well, it's safe to
Okay.
write that
You're
down.
ahead of the game.
Chad's not here.
Let's see,
She's
unless she
usually on
has
that one
something
pretty
else.
quick.
Right.
Do you have anything else otherwise?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's the finance, it was that, okay.
I have a
No, that's
motion
good.
and a second to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, 4:55.
Not bad for a budget meeting.
That's great.